I'm going to show you something called list pattern matching, where we have a list here and we're going to create patterns to match it. It's pretty amazing. You'll impress your friends and coworkers. Here's an example, the most basic example. If this list is, and then we put the pattern in these square brackets, 1, 2, 3, 4, because that's kind of what it is, 1, 2, 3, 4. That should match. So we'll write out, if that's true, we'll say it matches with an exclamation point because we're excited about that. But if it doesn't match, we'll say it doesn't match. But we would expect this to match. Let's save it. Let's run it. And it matches as we would expect. Well, let's make an example where it doesn't match just for completeness sake. Does 0, 2, 3, 4 match this? No, it doesn't. Let's just prove it. It doesn't match. Okay, what if we don't care what the first value is? We can put an underscore there, and it'll say anything 2, 3, 4. Does that match? We would expect that it does, and it does match. Excellent. Does that mean that we don't care what the numbers are as long as the count is correct? Like any 4 anythings will match? That should work. And it does. Just to prove that we do need 4, we can't just do it with 3. We'll put 3 in there. Let's run that. It doesn't match because we have 1, 2, 3, but there's 4 items. What if we want the first item, and we can say, I don't care about the other ones, but what if we have like 1,000 or something, or we don't even know. We just want to know that the first integer is 1. We can use 2 dots. So this is 1 and whatever. Let's save that. It matches. We could also say 1, I don't care as long as it ends in 4. So 1, anything, any values and as many as you want, and then the integer 4. That should also match. And it matches as expected. How about this trick? Starts with a 1. Has anything in between, and the last value is less than 5. Yes, you can actually put greater than and less than in there. This is a true statement because 4 is less than 5, so it should come out as it matches. Let's just make sure that we're not fooling ourselves. Let's put a 3 in there. This should fail, right? Because 4 is not less than 3. It doesn't match as expected. Great. But that's just the beginning of the cool things we can do. What if we said 1, anything, and a value that is greater than 3 and less than 10? Can we use these ands and ors in there? We certainly can. Let me show you. Unless it blows up. Why did it? Oh, because I have this stray character in here. Let's try that again. It matches because 4 is blah blah. We can also put an or in there. So if it's greater than 3, or let's say it's greater than 5, which isn't true, or less than 10, which is true. Okay, that's kind of a crazy Boolean statement, but it should work because 4 is not greater than 5, but it is less than 10. It matches. Now let's get to some really good stuff. What if we said 1, anything else, and int x? Will this match? It matches 1, anything else? What about this last value? Well, let's run it and find out what happens. You can always run it and find out what happens. It matches. But what does that mean in x? Well, believe it or not, when you say int x, it actually stores the value of 4. Well, the value of whatever's in that position, in this case 4, and the variable x. It matches. The value of x is x. If we save that and run it, see, it actually took the value from our pattern matching and saved it. You're like, can it get any crazier? Yes, it can. Because what if we said var the rest? So 1 and whatever else, and save that in a value called the rest. Well, I'm going to have to change this to the rest. So let's see what we get when we assign the rest of these to the variable the rest. We can see that the value of x is a list. Well, that makes sense because this is a list. So we took this 2, 3, 4, which is part of the list, and it's the list. Let's just prove that it's 2, 3, 4 though. So I'm going to do a little trick here. I'm going to say control period and extract a method, get the rest. So I don't want to return a list though, I want to return a string. So how do I turn a list into a string? It's actually kind of easy. You say string. Oh, that's amazing. It knew what I wanted to do. String join. So take every element in the rest and join them together into a string and separate them by commas. That's what this means. And it's crazy that AI picked up on that. Okay, so when we run this, it should grab these 3 values, put it in the value of the rest, which is, as we saw, a list. Then it's going to pass it to this method, and the method's going to return a string, and it'll say the value of x is, we expect 2, 3, 4 with commas. You should always know what to expect before you test it. Otherwise, you're just always like, oh, that makes sense. No, know what it's going to be. Then you'll know if you're right or not. But it doesn't work unless you save it first. So save it, then .NET Run, because .NET Run does the build and then it runs it. And there you go. It matches, and the values are 2, 3, and 4. So that's my video. I hope you enjoyed it. It's kind of cool what you can do with this pattern matching. I'll make a new video soon, so check back. See you later.